Hi, I'm Dr. John Robertson, and I'm going to be sharing some tips with you on maintaining mental health, mental balance as we go through this COVID-19 public health emergency. Now, I'm sure, or I think, all of us are probably following the general guidelines of making sure that we wash our hands frequently, that we keep a social distance, that we avoid any unnecessary travel, and that we self-quarantine and self-isolate if we come into contact with someone with the virus or begin to obviously develop symptoms ourselves. But even more than that, it's important that we also maintain our sense of mental health, of mental balance as we go through this. We don't know how long we may have to experience this, but being available to care for ourselves and also to care for those who we care about is extremely important. Now, some of the things that you may experience are some anxiety. Some of us are used to being very stoic, or as men, and I can only speak for the men, the tough guys who would have a time, saying that we are anxious. But I will tell you, with this COVID-19, I'm experiencing some anxiety. And that's natural and normal. And you may have a number of things come up, some apprehension, some sense of just feeling a bit, powerless. Because with this virus, we don't know fully, what we're battling, but yet and still, we have got to wend our way through this. So, what can we do to maintain that mental balance? One, we can firstly acknowledge our anxiety. And in doing that, it's being self-aware that, we just don't know exactly what is going to be happening down the road. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to freak out or just go into a fetal position, but often talking about that anxiety with individuals who you trust is very important. And if the anxiety gets to be at a point where it's just major, talking to a health professional, a mental health professional, or to a pastor who is had some experience in dealing with mental health issues would be very important. The second thing that you may want to do is to even write down, what the anxiety is or what the worries are. Sometimes in putting it down, on pen and pencil or pen and paper is enough to just quiet some of the anxiety. So that's another way, or journaling, as some individuals would say. The other thing is that we can do is to stay informed. If we have accurate information about what's going on, it allows us to better be able to know what our choices are and what our options are. But the most important thing is that these sources of information be accurate and as unbiased as possible. Next, we can then also reach out to others. As we talk about sharing our anxieties, often calling up a friend, calling up someone who we haven't been in touch with for a while, text messaging them, etc. But trying to make that connection, make that bridge is also very helpful and can help, with knowing that we're not alone, that we are all in this together. And the other thing, I don't want to neglect that, and that is prayer. Keeping up our spiritual and religious practices can be one of the best things that we can do to maintain our mental health. And while we may not be able to attend our traditional worship services, making an effort to connect through virtual services through the internet would be something that, is another way of connecting. And lastly, maintaining some sense of humor. As is said from time immemorial, laughter